My goal here with what we're going to talk about today is, I think we can all agree that there is a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of confusion when it comes to fitness, strength training, when it comes to nutrition. I mean, there's a new diet being created every single day. I mean, you can go to the mall or the grocery store, and there's a new tabloid of quickest way to lose 15 pounds in 3 hours. Like there's always something new, right? And so my hopes today is to share with you guys some steps of implementation that you can use right now that are actually going to yield actual, real, sustainable results. So, really quick, I would love it if everybody could turn their cameras on, because I do a lot of presentations and I love talking to faces. So I don't care what you look like. I really don't care. I'm sure you're beautiful. But I would love it if I could speak to everyone. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead, and I've got a presentation prepared here. So I'm just going to share my screen, and then we'll jump into it. So, all right, can everybody see this okay? Wonderful. Yeah. Cool. So basically what we're going to go over is the exact steps to eliminate pain, optimize health, lose fat, and to live life to the fullest. So what we're going to go over today is why mainstream fitness has failed you, why diets really just don't work, and how to permanently change your health, your body, and your life. So a little bit about who I am and what I do, because I feel like that's very, very important, because I think, again, in like the whole fitness world, usually the fitness information that's being spewed is from people who are already fit. They've never had to have life issues. They've never had to go through their own transformation. They played football in high school and they were shredded then, and they just stayed shredded. So they really, I mean, it's like trying to get advice from a trust fund baby on how to make money. It's not really applicable. So I was a competitive strongman for many years. And if you guys know anything about strongmen, really short, it's a really stupid sport. It's basically how much weight can you lift? How fast can you lift it without dying? And I did that for many years. And if you guys seen competitive strongmen, they're very large. So I had to eat myself all the way up to this size to be competitive. And I was competitive. I placed in the Utah's strongest lightweight division. So I was one of Utah's strongest competitors. I was on my way to nationals, but then I realized that I was getting really unhealthy. I was 235 pounds. I was strong, but I was also unhealthy. I had a high blood pressure, had an eating disorder, energy drink addiction, and I was on my way to developing diabetes. I was pre-diabetic. So my health was out of control. And so I had to get my health under control. And I wanted to get rid of all of this fat without losing any of my hard-earned strength or muscle. And through a couple methods that I've implemented, I was able to lose 65 pounds in 6 months. And there you can just kind of see a little before and after right there. To this day, I've been a strength coach for over 9 years. And I'm the owner and founder of Look Like You Lift. So if you go on Instagram, you just type in Look Like You Lift, you can find me there. We have a lot of really great information. And I've helped coach hundreds of men and women around the world to permanently lose weight, improve their health without restrictive diets or ridiculous workouts. And you can even, I've been on the news, I've been Fox, NBC, CBS, and a couple other magazines for my no BS approach to doing this stuff. So very passionate about this. And yeah, let's jump into it. So here's the problem with mainstream fitness. Before we get into it, I just want to really quick raise your hand if you have ever tried a fitness program before, anytime in your life. It's probably safe to say most of us have tried at least one program sometime in our life. One fitness program, one diet, one supplement that was supposed to change our life permanently, and it really just didn't end up working out, right? So why is this? Why are there so many programs? Why are there so many solutions out there? And why do none of them seem to work? Well, there's really 3 reasons for this. Number 1 is they're trying to sell you a product. Number 2 is they're giving you a false sense of success. And number 3 is there's no proof of long-term results. So here's what I mean by trying to sell you a product, whether it's the boot camp down the street or the commercial on your screen at 1 a.m. for the latest and greatest at-home tool that you can buy that's end up just going to sit under your bed for the next 3 years collecting dust. Everyone is trying to sell you a gimmick or toy. And these gimmicks are cleverly marketed to you to sound like the one and only solution to your problem. You probably heard of these, very common, and they're real. You've seen them on TV. Just 5 minutes a day to toned arms, or say goodbye to that belly. Use this tea to literally melt away fat, or never do another crunch again. Wear this for 10 minutes a day to get shredded. We've probably heard of something like this before, right? So they're all trying to push you a product. And at the heart of it, the problem is each one of these products has little to no scientific backing at all, or a track record of successful transformations for regular people. We all know that the people who are pushing these products, again, were already fit in the first place. So here's the key to making millions of dollars in the fitness world. Create a gimmick that you can make for $3 out in China, get a really shredded guy to put this on his stomach, and then sell it for $200. That's how you can make millions in the fitness world, right? But they don't want you to know that. They just want to get you to buy their product as fast as possible while you let it sit in your basement just collecting dust. So that's the first problem, is everybody out there is trying to push you a pill, a powder, a gimmick, a toy, just something to get a quick buck off of your expense. The second problem is there's no proof of long-term results. So here's the fact. You can lose weight with any kind of diet. I'm not here to argue whether diet A or diet B works. I'm not here to tell you that. Any diet can work, and any diet can help you lose weight. Any workout can work, and any gimmick can work even. But can you maintain those results for longer than 3 months? I think of a very, very popular at-home training program it's been around for almost 15 years. And the premise is an at-home workout that you do for 90 days. And some people can make incredible progress in those 90 days. But what happens as soon as you finish those 90 days and you stop? You lose those results and you revert back to where you started, sometimes even worse. And this is what I see constantly in this world. I've been doing this for almost 10 years, and I see people who hop on a program, make progress, and then they hop off and they go right back to where they started. So there's a problem here. We need to find the solution to the long-term solution to your issue. So here's a quick study for you. In a meta-analysis of 29 long-term weight loss studies, more than half of the lost weight was regained within 2 years. And by 5 years, more than 80% of lost weight was regained. 29 different long-term studies. Okay, so these use different diet methods, different exercise methods. 80% gained their weight back in 5 years. So there's a problem here. So clearly the issue is not in losing weight. The issue is actually keeping the weight off for good. And that's what I work with here, is I don't want you to lose this weight and then gain it back later. What we want to try to do is get your results and then permanently keep it off for the rest of your life so you never have to worry about it ever again. So what's the solution here? We need to take a look at what's been the most effective for body composition and has a decreased length of morbidity for the last 100 years. So now you're probably asking what a length of morbidity is. So the length of morbidity is basically how long it takes for you to die. So we're not talking about sudden deaths like acts of God or something that happens. We're talking like how long it takes for you to die from old age, death caused by old age. So for most people, your length of morbidity is about 30 years. So it takes you about 30 years to die. And it's kind of gruesome to think about that. But if you're at 50 years old, you start dying at 50 and then you die at 80, it's 30 years length of morbidity. What we want to do is we want to shorten that length of morbidity down to as minimal as possible. Okay. So if your scheduled day of death is going to be 80 years old, instead of spending 30 years to die, what if we could shorten that down to like a month and you live a healthy, vibrant life for the other 79 years and 11 months? That sounds a lot better, right? So what has been shown to decrease the length of morbidity the most, and what has been shown to be the most positive for body composition? So when we're talking about body composition, this essentially means the amount of fat tissue and muscle tissue. So a favorable body composition would naturally be less body fat and more muscle tissue. Okay, so what has been the most effective? We have to really take a look at what has been the most effective over the last 100 years, because that's going to give us the greatest track record for this. For my years of research and helping people around the world to permanently lose weight, feel better, and overcome their health issues, I found the answer to be really one thing, and it's strength training. Okay, it's not a gimmick. It's not a toy. It's not a supplement. It's not a magical berry that you can find in the forests of the Amazon. It's strength training. It's getting stronger. So now when we're talking about strength training, what I have found to be the most effective tool for getting stronger for all populations has been the barbell. And the barbell is a 7-foot long piece of metal with a collar on each end where you can stack plates on either side. That has been the most effective tool, proven over the last 100 years to be the most effective for positive body composition changes and decreasing the length of morbidity. So here's 4 reasons why the barbell is the best tool that you can use. Number 1, barbell does not have a heart rate monitor on it. It does not have a calorie tracker on it. It's not going to be the latest and greatest technology that you can grab in 2021. It's actually pretty archaic technology, but it works. So number 1, economics. So using a barbell requires very little equipment, time, or money. Shane has his barbell in his garage or his basement, and he has a rack and he has a bench, and that's all he's been able to use for the last 2 years. Now, just barely right now, we've been using a couple machines and a couple toys here and there, but for the bulk of his program, he's only used his barbell. The barbell movements require the most muscle mass to do the movement correctly, which means more work is done with fewer exercises and volume. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about, where you go to your boot camp class or you go to an exercise class, you hire a personal trainer, and they give you like 15 exercises that are all weird in kind of some aspect. And then you go in the next time and there's even more weird exercises. Well, with the barbell, we have 5. And we get really good at those 5, and that's really all you need. So the second point is simplicity. The movements are basic. Okay. It's a squat, it's a press, and it's a deadlift. Basic human movements. Everybody squats. If you don't think you should squat, I want you to try to go to the bathroom without squatting. Everybody deadlifts. If you have kids, you deadlift your kid up. Everybody presses. Maybe not as much as you think, but everyone does these basic movements. So we teach you how to get stronger in these movements. They're applicable to everyday life. And while some coaching is required to properly do these lifts, programming and application is easy and simple, and it's easy to understand. I don't need to confuse you and tell you that this is going to work this specific muscle and it's going to make you confused and overwhelmed and you have to stick with me forever because I'm going to give you all these new little things. No, it's basic, it's simple, and it's effective. Number 3, anybody can do it. While most people think that barbell training is only for power lifters and the big burly strong guys, most people can use a barbell. So we've worked with 80-year-old members, people who were considered geriatric, where they can't move without a walker, and they've been able to use a barbell. And we've worked with people from that point in their life all the way down to teenage football players. Literally anybody can use a barbell. Number 4, actual results. Not gimmick results, not smoke and mirrors, oiling up the body and shaving body hair to make you look like you have results. These are real, attainable results. Strength training results are indisputable. More studies are being done each day that are proving the lifelong results from barbell training. So there's 5 essential things that you can accomplish with just training with a barbell, just one piece of tool. Number 1 is strength, obviously. Now, why is strength important? Well, we believe that strength should be the most important physical attribute that anybody should aspire to accomplish because you're going to use strength in every aspect of your life. It also improves agility. So agility is essentially your ability to produce power, to move quickly, to course correct. Don't think you need agility. Think of the last time that you tripped over a curb or a raised piece of concrete. You need to be agile to catch yourself and not fall over. Number 3, reduction of pain. Raise your hand if you got back pain. We've all got back pain some point in our life. If you don't have back pain yet, just wait 10 more years. You're going to have it. So by getting your back stronger, we can eliminate the back pain. We've had several people who come through our program who have had bulging discs, herniated discs, fused spines. And by getting them to do what their doctor told them not to do, because doctors tell you not to lift heavy because you're going to hurt yourself, we actually get them stronger and their pain goes away. And this goes for knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain. By getting those areas stronger, the pain goes away. It's not a cream. It's not a pill. It's not an electro-stimulating whoozy-whatsy. It's just by using your body to fix its own problems. Number 4, balance. So yes, with strength training, we don't really have you balancing on a Bosu ball or doing one-legged exercises. But yes, by increasing force production through the body, you're going to have more balance. You're going to be able to stand on one leg to put your pants on in the morning and not have to hold yourself up. That's what happens when you get stronger. And number 4, like we said, favorable body composition. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that just using a barbell is going to make you shredded and diced to the bone. Like strength training alone is not going to do that, but it's also not going to make you bulky. Women, I know you've said that before, that getting stronger is going to make you bulky. It's not. It's going to give you a favorable body composition. It's going to give you that tone that you're looking for. It's going to help you fill out your clothes in the right area, gentlemen. And it's going to make this whole weight loss journey so much more enjoyable. So 5 points, 5 actual results that can come from actually training with a barbell. So before we jump into the next section, I want to open up questions for like 2 minutes on what we've just covered about barbell training. So feel free to unmute yourself or drop it in the chat. I will open up to questions just for 2 minutes before we hop into the next section.
I don't know if necessarily have a question, but I used to have lower back pain, and getting the right form with deadlifts, strengthening that my back, knock on wood, I don't even think about back pain. In fact, when you asked who has back pain, I didn't even think to even raise my hand because it's just been gone.
Crazy
and shoulder pain.
Yeah. I'll use my father as an example. It's so funny so I've been doing this for 10 years, but it wasn't until just last year that my father finally took me up on, hey, all right, fine, I'll let you help me out. He's had debilitating back pain for the last 20 years. He's seen physical therapists, chiropractors. He's had MRIs done. He's had, he's had cortisone shots done. And it wasn't until we taught him how to deadlift. And I've got footage of him deadlifting 300 pounds for the first time. He's never deadlifted 300 pounds. He's in his late 50s. And he deadlifted 300 pounds after months of training, no back pain, first time in his life in the last 20 years. So it's real. It's real stuff.
Hey, Braydon, one of the questions that might be popping up in everyone's mind is like, how do you do this virtually? Like, it might be good to explain that.
100%. Yeah. So we take a lot of pride in our form checks, and we take a lot of pride in how we instruct the lifts. I highly encourage people to meet one-on-one with an actual barbell coach, but I've taken it one step further because I realize that barbell coaches are not popular. They're extremely rare nowadays. So what we do is we teach you the lifts. We start from the ground up. You film your lifts, and then we do an in-depth analysis of your lifts, and we tell you what you can do to improve. And then over time, week after week, you get better, you get stronger, and eventually you're going to get to the point where I run out of things to evaluate. Like Shane sends over his form checks, and I'm like, do more weight. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what's funny though is like a year and a half ago, even 2 years ago, I was coming from being in CrossFit and thinking that I was doing the right form, but like when I was videotaping myself and you were giving me the criteria or the critiques, I mean, it was night and day. I was just doing them wrong. And
I basically had to tell him, hey, reduce the weight by 200 pounds and try again.
Yeah.
So, but now look at him. He's doing great. All right, let's jump into the next thing I want to talk about nutrition. Now, I'm going to make a very big disclaimer here. I've realized that talking about nutrition is very similar to talking about politics and religion. So I'm not here to start arguments. I'm not here to offend anyone. I'm here to help you guys make your own decisions on which direction you should go when you want to try out a new nutritional method. Cool. All right. So here's the thing, guys. More diets are being fabricated every single day. I swear, I see a new diet coming out every single month. You guys ever heard of the baking powder diet? Just wait. 6 months, it's coming up. Okay. I've seen it. It's coming up. So brace yourself. Yet people aren't getting the help they need. So with all of these new diets that are coming out, why are people still unhealthy? Why are people still having a hard time to get in shape? It's time to bust some nutritional myths and set the record straight, so we can start making some real progress toward a healthy lifestyle. So what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to go over the facts. We're going to go over the truth. I'm not going to try to sell you on a gimmick. I have nothing to sell you, right? And so I don't have an agenda that I'm trying to push here. So I'm not going to sit and argue over which diet is best. Rather, I want to arm you with the knowledge so you are able to make those decisions for yourself. So I have 3 big things when it comes to nutrition, the 3 you don'ts of nutrition. Okay. These are basically the 3 things that you don't really need to do in order to lose weight or to get healthier. If a system or a diet is telling you that you need to do one of these 3 things, I'd be very careful. And I would encourage you to scrutinize their systems and make sure that you go in with a full understanding of why they want you to do one of these things. So number one, you don't need to cut out an entire food group. So right now we live in a time where it's very popular to demonize one food group. The reality of the matter is there's no such thing as good or bad foods. So what I'm talking about here is, a diet might tell you that all meat is bad, or all carbs are bad, or sugars are the devil, or there's even one that peas can cause cancer. I would be very, very cautious of a diet that tells you that you need to eliminate an entire food group in order to be healthy or in order to see results. But like I said, the reality of the matter is there's no such thing as good or bad foods. If a diet or method tries to convince you to eliminate an entire food group, you should scrutinize their information thoroughly before you try it out. Number two, you don't need to starve yourself. I wish I could scream this at the top of my lungs. You don't need to starve yourself. So weight loss and health is a very long game. Whether you like it or not, to lose weight, it's going to take a while. Okay. It cannot be rushed. But what does everybody want to do? We're very impatient. We're very greedy. So we try to rush this as much as we can. So what do? We starve ourselves. We drop our calories as low as we possibly can. But here's the truth. Starving yourself in an attempt to lose weight faster will actually lead to slower weight loss and a negative relationship with food. What I always say is the inevitable binge. Okay. So if you drop your calories really, really low and you try to starve yourself, you're going to have what's called an inevitable binge, where essentially you can't take it anymore. You can't take these low calories anymore. Your body freaks out and you go out and you can't stop eating. You start eating foods you don't even like, but you just can't stop because your body's out of control. And so that's what happens when we starve ourselves. And it's just a natural human response to when we are in a famished state. Number three, you don't need to meticulously track everything. So what I'm talking about is, you've probably heard of like If It Fits Your Macros, or using an app like MyFitnessPal to track your food. Another popular trend right now is to track your macros and calories. But here's the reality. That can get really tiring very, very quickly. And it's not necessary to maintain a healthy body weight. It's another tool that you can use, but a lot of people can benefit and lose a lot of weight without having to track a single calorie. Just by fixing your nutritional habits, you can make a lot of progress. So those are kind of like the three big you don'ts of nutrition. So you don't need to cut out an entire food group. You don't need to starve yourself, and you don't need to meticulously track everything. Okay. Hopefully that has either lifted a burden off your shoulders, or you are now freaking out that I just blew your mind because I just kind of shattered your world with one of those three. But like I said, we'll open up to questions after this. So, all right. Like I said, I'm not here to give you a diet. I'm not here to tell you which diet is best. I'm here to give you actionable steps that you can implement right away to start making progress on your own. And here's three things that I have all of my guys implement right away that are very, very useful. They're easy, they're sustainable, and they're going to lead to real results. Okay. So number one is eliminate the snacks. So I'm not saying snack foods are bad. I'm not saying that the little thing of M&Ms at the receptionist desk is bad. But chronically snacking throughout the day can lead to an unnecessary amount of calories without even tracking, without knowing how much you're snacking, because we kind of snack mindlessly, right? We don't really care. We're not really paying attention. You can easily overdo it by about 1,500 calories just from snacks alone. 1,500 calories. That's pretty wild, right? So those M&Ms at the receptionist desk can quickly add up. So if you have a snack food that you really enjoy, I'd encourage you to have them as part of a meal. Have an actual meal at breakfast, lunch, or dinner, which moves me into my next point. I want you eating 3 times a day. So skipping a meal can lead to unnecessary hunger signals and can lead to overeating. So having a breakfast, having a lunch, and having a dinner that is balanced in nutrients will lead to all-day energy and overall resisting the urge to overeat. So this is where, if you have a favorite snack food that you really like having, I would encourage you to just have it part of your meal. Now, don't make that your only thing in your meal. Like we said, we want a balanced meal. So how do we balance a meal? Let's get into point number 3. I want you to have a veggie with every single meal. And we love veggies. So what I want you to do is find your favorite vegetable and have a handful with each meal. And I want you to find your favorite way to prepare your vegetables. What's a vegetable that you absolutely love? Because I think from our own childhoods, we've been naturally programmed to not like veggies. So I'd encourage you to find a veggie that you like and find a way to cook it that you enjoy. honestly, right now, I don't care. I don't care if it's fried. We'll work on that later. But I want you to get in the habit of having a veggie. I'll tell you right now, guys, my two favorite veggies right now are baby carrots and pickles. I love pickles. I have pickles with like every meal. So you can totally do that. Simply making this a non-negotiable will pay dividends in your health and body composition. Okay. So 3 super easy things that you can implement right away. And it's not a freaky diet. I'm not telling you to cut something out. I'm not telling you to like live off the land. It's just really simple things you can implement right now. So cut out the snacks, eat 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then have a veggie with every single meal. It's pretty simple, right? All right. So let's talk about probably the biggest question that we all have in our mind that we've been bombarded with in the last 10 or 15 years: supplements. We all know about supplements, pills, and powders. I feel like that's been pushed like crazy on social media, Instagram, the billboard, everybody's pushing it. So let's talk about the truth about supplements. Okay. It's no coincidence that the people who pressure you into buying supplements are usually selling their own supplements. Supplements can help if they're the right product. Big fat if they're the right product. However, too many people focus on them and probably don't even need them for a very long time. So again, going back to a natural bias here, I don't have a supplement line. I do not push supplements. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Therefore, I don't have a monetary influence to tell you to go take supplements. So here's the pyramid that I use a lot when we're talking about food and where the priority of supplements takes place. So number 1, at the very base of the pyramid that you should be focusing on is nutrition habits. So those 3 things that I just showed you in the last slide, start there. The second thing you can focus on is energy balance. So when we're talking about energy balance is the calories that are coming in versus the calories that you're expending. The third thing that we can focus on is macronutrients. So macronutrients is essentially the breakdown of protein, carbohydrates, and fats. The next thing that we can focus on is meal timing. So what's the composition of the macronutrients for each individual meal that you're having throughout the day? Last thing at the very tippy top up here is energy cycling. Okay, so high days, low days, carb cycling, low carb, high carb, low fat, high fat. That's at the very tippy top. And then very up at the very top, like you can barely see it. If you squint your eyes hard enough, you can see it, is supplements. It's all the way up there. Most of you guys don't even need that for like the next 2 or 3 years. Okay. I guarantee you, nay, promise you, if you focus on these 2 right here, just if you focus on this one right here, just take those 3 things that I gave you, you'll never need another supplement ever. Okay. And that's just the truth. Okay. You don't need the powder that the girl with the good looking butt on Instagram is trying to push you with a discount code at 10%. Like you just don't need it. Fix your food. Okay. So where do we go from here? You probably feel like I've just sprayed you with a fire hose of information. How can we implement what we just talked about today? So number 1, go follow at Look Like You Lift on Instagram. I am constantly posting very good information that you guys can use in your own life. It's free. And then I also have a complete barbell training program available for everybody who's interested. So simply what you need to do is reach out to me on Instagram at Look Like You Lift, and I'll be happy to send it over to you. We have little videos that explain why the system works so well, how to implement it. We have our entire program laid out that you can use. And again, it's free. So at Look Like You Lift, go check me out. Send me a message. I'll be happy to send it over to you. All right, now we can open things up to questions. Ask me anything. Anything's on the table. Whatever you guys want to hear or whatever you guys want.
I have 2 questions, Braydon.
Yes.
So first question, do you have like an in-person training option where because obviously, I mean, I don't have a barbell set at home, but I do like barbell lifting. It's one of my favorites. So, but do you have like a gym or area where you train clients, or is it solely virtual?
It is 100% virtual. I do use a gym where I film my content, instructional videos, and post stuff. I sometimes will do consultations where we can do form checks and hands-on corrections. We can I mean, my schedule's kind of slammed right now. It's the end of the year, but we can definitely try to find something that works. I'm over in Idaho though, so.
Oh, you're out of state. Okay.
Yeah.
Other question is, I want to hear your feedback on CrossFit. I know Shane, you used to do CrossFit. I started doing CrossFit the end of last year, and then I stopped for a while because I had to have surgery, but I'm like
Mhm.
planning to go back to it. I just want to get your input on that because I do like the lifting piece. Like the lifting piece is probably my favorite.
That's usually what I hear from people. I mean, Shane, that was your favorite thing, was the lifting side of it. So just like with nutrition, I'm not going to tell you what is good and what is bad. Everything has a pro and everything has a con. CrossFit is just another tool. I've seen CrossFit done correctly, and I've seen CrossFit done horribly. So, unfortunately, they all fall under the same franchise, and so I can't tell you which one is going to be good and which one's going to be bad. I will say that, like I said, CrossFit is just a tool. If you're looking for something that is fun, upbeat, different every single day, go for it. If you want to find something that is more sustainable, something that is more realistic, something that is more, I guess, what would you say? Low key, something's not so intense, I would recommend barbell training, very similar to how I do it. I would recommend checking out the program that I have, and you can make the decision for yourself of what you would like to do. So that's probably a really roundabout answer. You probably wanted to, oh, it's bad or oh, it's good, but that's kind of my stance.
Joan, from my perspective, the thing I loved about CrossFit was I liked that depleted feeling at the end of a workout. But most importantly, the reason I signed up to do it, and I did it for 6 years, was I didn't have to think about what my workout was. I would just show up and they would have the workout for me. And so what I've realized though is that I wasn't increasing in the weights. Like I just would do the same things over and over again because you're doing it such high quality volume. I wasn't increasing in weights. And so then I found myself doing extra workouts on my own to get stronger. And so then I just said, you know what? And then I was getting hurt too, and so with Braydon, I've been able to get stronger and get all the results. And he gives me all the plans. So I don't have to think about when I get to the gym. I have the app. I pull up my workout. Okay, this is what I'm doing today. Got to lift 5 pounds heavier than last week, and it works.
Yep.
Yeah, that's helpful. I like that too, not having to think about it. So yeah.
Don't we all? Yeah, I will say CrossFit has done more in the last 30 years to bring barbell training to the norm than any other sport or any other fitness thing out there. So, I mean, we have a lot to contribute to CrossFit. Rogue came around back in 2009. That wouldn't be a thing without CrossFit. And Rogue has made some of the greatest barbells I've ever used. I mean, they're comparable to Eleco. Eleco is the bar they use in the Olympics. So I think there's a lot to be said about CrossFit, and it's totally up to what you're looking for. So I got some questions privately. So first question came in: what is your morning routine? So my morning routine is probably not very exciting. I wake up at 6:30. I plan out my day. I go on a 30-minute walk. I eat breakfast, and then I go to work. So the next question was, how do you track lifting progress? Pen to paper, any app you can log? Do you plan your workouts a week in advance, less or more? So as far as tracking, personally, I use a good old notebook. I've been using a notebook for the last 10 years. It's been totally fine. All of my clients use an app where I'm able to track their progress. We're able to lay out all the data points so we can see if they're actually getting stronger or not. It allows me to keep tracks on you instead of having to take pictures of your log. Do you plan your workouts a week in advance, less or more? I plan my workouts 6 months in advance. So we have what's called a macro cycle. I believe that in order to see sustainable results, you need to stick to something for longer than 6 months. And so my training, my programming is laid out a year in advance, sometimes 6 months in advance, no less than 5 months. And so good questions though. How long are the workouts and are they daily? No. So most people only train 3 days a week, and the workouts will take you less than an hour. It's 3 or 4 exercises a day. So it's again, that coming down to the economics, since the lifts that use the barbell use so much muscle mass at once, you don't need to be in the gym 6 or 7 days a week. In fact, less is more. We can get more quality of gains from less effort when we do things correctly. So 3 days a week, less than an hour a day. I know guys who are addicted to the gym feeling and addicted to the burn don't really like hearing that. But that's really all you need to grow. So good question. What else we got?
Well, I'll just comment on that. So I always struggle with wanting more. Braydon knows that. I'm like, hey, can I get a 5th day? Because I do a 4-day a week program, but I'm not in the gym more than 40 minutes. Like from the time that I get there and I get a certain process of warming up to the time, and then by the time I get through all my lifts and I'm done, like it's 40 minutes, probably max. You can look on my app and see and sometimes it's like 35.
Yeah. When Shane wants more work, I'm constantly pulling back on the reins with Shane. I'm like, hey, if you want more, just go heavier next time.
It's true.
So other question I got, do you think people need cardio or HIIT too? I think there's great benefits from cardio. It's indisputable that you need to do cardio to keep your heart healthy. And I'm a big fan of, the whole reason why I want to get you stronger is so you can enjoy life more. So you can go on more hikes. So you can go on a bike ride. You can do more with your life. And so I love cardio. I'm currently upping up my cardio because snowboard season's right around the corner and I don't want to be huffing and puffing when I go do backcountry. So as far as HIIT is concerned, so HIIT is high intensity interval training. Again, very, very popular nowadays. It's essentially sprint training. The question comes in, what is the purpose of the cardio that you are doing? If you're looking for heart health, then I recommend the low intensity stuff, going for a run, going for a hike, going for a walk. The high intensity stuff is fine if you're looking for a burn. It's not going to help with weight loss. I don't care what the science has told you. It's anecdotal at best. And the high intensity stuff is also going to interfere with your strength training. So you're not going to be able to uphold a high intensity interval training style of cardio and try to strength training at the same time. You're going to leave your body very stressed out. HIIT training is extremely stressful on the body. It elevates cortisol levels, which if your body's constantly in a sympathetic state, your body can't come down and recover. So it's fun. I'll give them that. But as far as like efficacious, there's not much there. Where I would see it beneficial is for athletes who, someone in football has to go from stop to sprint very quickly. But if you're just a normal person who just wants to get in shape, be strong and look good, I don't see it as necessary. So another good question.
Okay, I have one more, and I'm sorry that I'm like monopolizing because I was putting some in the chat too.
No,
But
please.
if you're doing the barbell program like solely, so let's say 3 to 4 days a week, and then you're doing like 2 to 3 mile walks on your non-lifting days, you think that's like sufficient to maintain a good physique without doing a ton of HIIT cardio or anything else?
Absolutely. Okay. We give a certain amount of steps that I want you to have every single day. So you can do 2 or 3 miles of walking on your days of training as well. But yeah, so and you even said maintaining a physique. Maintaining a physique is very minimal work. You don't need to do a lot of work to maintain the current level that you're at. If you're happy where you are, you don't need to do a lot to maintain it. Now, if you're trying to change your physique, if you're trying to adjust your body composition, that's going to take work. But most of the time, if your strength training is optimized, if you're staying active, you're walking, that kind of adjustment in body composition is just going to come down to food, just fixing your nutrition. So great question.
Anyone else have questions? Don't be shy, guys.
The floor is literally yours, guys. So
Yeah,
if you have any, I'm happy to bust myths. I'm sure there's a lot of myths that you guys heard of. Lynn just says, what about protein? 1 gram per pound. You don't need that much. You would probably only need kind of the recommendation I have is 0.8 grams per pound. So if you're 150 pounds, then here, let's pull up my calculator real quick. So if you're 150 pounds, you only need like 120 grams of protein. Now, the whole reason why protein you're supposed to have more is, again, who's telling you to have more? It's probably a dude who's probably trying to sell you a powder, right? Most of you guys can just get your protein in from food. I don't use protein powders because I just don't need them. And I get 200 grams of protein in a day. I just get it from food, right? So it's another really, really good question. So yeah.
How about the collagen powders, Braydon?
Oh,
Your thoughts? I do a lot of them, but like the vital proteins, like there's like the marine collagen or
Yep.
yeah.
So when you say what about collagen, I get my first question is, why are you taking the collagen in the first place?
Mm-hmm. I do it for like just added I put it in like oatmeal or like smoothies just for added protein because I feel like I need an extra protein boost. And then it's supposed to be good for like hair, skin, nails, you know.
So again, this goes down to the scientific evidence and being anecdotal at best. So as far as consuming collagen to help with hair, skin, and nails, there's no evidence to show that the bioavailability of dietary collagen converts into the actual useful collagen to actually increase the hair, skin, and nails. That's been around for a while. I had to like tell my mother this because my mom and dad are always, it's weird. They're always like getting into the fitness myths. And I'm over here like, you didn't consult me about this first. But so she spent like $500 on collagen powder and it didn't make any difference. And that's because there's a difference between consuming it and actually having the body utilize it for what it needs to be. So yeah, I haven't seen any evidence to show that it actually helps. What has been shown to help with hair, skin, and nails is just making sure that you don't have any vitamin deficiencies. You're getting in plenty of fats in your diet. That's going to be better for hair, skin, and nails than anything, is making sure that you have healthy fats in your diet. So.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite like clean protein that you like?
Yeah. Steak.
Okay.
Yeah. So, as far as like protein powders, so, I'm not affiliated. I'm not sponsored or anything, but if you absolutely need a protein powder, I like Dymatize, because Dymatize has been shown to not protein spike, amino acid spike their proteins. So a lot of proteins out there to have less protein in their powder to make it cheaper for them to produce, but also make you pay more. They'll do what's called amino acid spiking. So they'll actually increase taurine in their dosage, which will show up when they're actually doing the tests that, oh, there's more protein than what there actually is. Dymatize has been shown time and time again that they've never done that. So I think they're very ethical. And I mean, at the end of the day, it mixes really, really well and it tastes freaking delicious. Like I have yet to try a Dymatize protein that doesn't taste gross. I think they're all amazing. So yeah, like I said, you can get it from food. So yeah. Maybe 2 more minutes of questions if we have any. Did I just completely shock and amaze all of you? What's one of the most common form mistakes that you see in lifting? It's really, really broad. What's the most common form mistakes that you see in lifting? Trying to think. Probably depth in the squat. So a lot of guys who think that they're squatting to depth, they're actually like really, really far away from depth. So, and that kind of comes from just ego, like caring more about what the weight on the barbell is than actually doing the movement correctly. I'd probably say that's probably the biggest thing. So depth in the squat, and then spinal flexion in the deadlift. So rounding of the back in the deadlift. I see that a lot. We spend a lot of time working on those things. And honestly, like we teach you from the ground up. We teach you like before we even touch the barbell, how to do the movements correctly, very, very fast too. So as long as you just do that, you follow the steps that I tell you and you swallow the ego, form problems really aren't there. So another good question.
Yeah, Matt, I mean, like the movements that Braydon is talking about and teaches, like we do this in our daily lives. And so to some extent, you're doing the movement without you realizing it. And so when you get in under a bar and you do a deadlift, you're going to do it semi right. What Braydon does though, is he looks at what you're doing and makes tweaks. Hey, keep your hips down. Don't roll your back, that type of thing. And that's how I've been able to, I've looked at videos from like 2 years ago to like, recently it was like last month. And my form is like, it's 10 times better.
Ooh, Joan asked another really good question. Do you need to do challenging Olympic, so power clean, snatch, lifts, or will you get the same results with press, deadlift, and squat? That's a great question. So when we're talking, so we have to kind of define what same results mean. So if we're talking about overall strength, agility, pain elimination, just overall higher quality of life, you don't need them. However, let's not deny that they're fun. And I think fun and novelty should be a part of programming. We do teach the power lifts, or we do teach the Olympic lifts. We teach the clean and the snatch. Do we use them very much? Not really, because the only kind of adaptation that can come from those lifts is power development. So, but we can develop power through just getting you stronger as well. So again, coming down to economics. Now, if you are a thrower or a sprinter or someone who power is part of their sport, yes, absolutely, we're going to teach you those lifts. But most people don't need it. Can the lifting be done with just dumbbells? No. So you need to have a barbell. Again, going down to like, if you want to do the program 100% and you want to make this as economical as possible, the barbell is going to be the best tool that you can use. It's like asking, if I have to haul a bunch of dirt that absolutely needs a truck, can I use a minivan? Sure, you could, but to get the most out of it, get the job done fastest, you're going to want a bar. You're going to want a truck, right? So same kind of thing. So, I mean, but Lynn, like, you can absolutely squat, you can absolutely press, you can absolutely deadlift with a dumbbell. But barbell is where you're going to see the most. I mean, we're talking like exponential returns on your investment. So great questions, guys.
Are you talking like straight barbell, or like, I know there's many different types of barbells?
A 7-foot Olympic 45-pound barbell.
Yep. Any specific brand, or just they're all pretty much the same?
Well, they're not all pretty much the same.
I would guess like materials are probably gonna be a differentiator.
Not necessarily materials, but how the barbell is fabricated. So your commercial gym probably has really, really crappy barbells.
Yep.
And if you're looking to like build out your home gym, probably the most expensive thing that you should look into buying is your barbell, because if you buy the right barbell, it's going to last you the rest of your life. But again, if you're just starting out, if you're just getting started with barbell training, you're fine to use a crappy one, but you'll eventually catch the bug and you're going to want to invest into better equipment. So
yeah. Matt, I bought a Rogue barbell a while ago, and it was middle of the road. I think it was like $250 or $275 or something like that. So nothing crazy.
And yeah, $275 for a Rogue barbell. That, like, I'm not even kidding. That barbell is going to last Shane the rest of his life. As long as he takes care of it, he doesn't throw it on the concrete, it's going to last him the rest of his life. So yeah.
Sweet. Thanks.
What do you think about Peloton training? Is this mostly for endurance and calorie burning? Is a rack necessary? Okay, let's start with Joan's question. So what do you think about Peloton? So you're talking about like the bike? It's just another form of cardio. Just another, like I said, like another tool. Just like CrossFit is another tool. Barbell training is another tool. Is it mostly for endurance and calorie burning? So I would make the argument you're probably not going to burn a lot of calories with Peloton. Same thing with an elliptical, rowing, running. You're not burning as many calories as you think. Your heart rate, that's another kind of rabbit hole that we can go down, but your heart rate monitor is telling you you're burning a lot more calories than you actually are. So you can be like busting balls on a Peloton for an hour and you're probably putting out about 100 calories. So that's why we don't use cardio as means of facilitating weight loss. We use cardio as means for heart health. And that's really it. Lynn, is a rack necessary? Yes, you're going to need a rack because that is where you're going to do your press, your bench press, and your squat. So you will need a rack. So I should clarify, when I say barbell kind of encapsulates, a rack, weights, bench, but that's literally like all you need. If you're looking to build out your own home gym, I've helped so many people build out their home gyms. You can go on Facebook Marketplace and find, especially now that COVID's kind of over, kind of going on the way out, people are realizing, oh wait, I don't use this stuff as much as I thought I was. And so now they're trying to get rid of it. So you can get some pretty good stuff on the Facebook Marketplace. And also, if you guys hit me up on Instagram and you send me a screenshot of what you're looking to buy, I can tell you if it's going to be good or if you should try to talk them down on price. So happy to do that as well. So cool. Well, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, always happy to do this stuff, guys. So if you want me to come back on and talk more in depth about something specific, I'm happy to help out any way I can. So
Yeah, thanks, Braydon. Always great information. And this will go out to the rest of the company too. We got about 150 employees. So whether or not they listen, you know, it's up to them. But like, I'll shame some of them to listen.
really quick, Joan, I wasn't able to record this. Could I also get a copy of this recording?
Yeah, I'll shoot you the link next week. I'll download it probably Monday if that works.
Wonderful. Great.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys, for joining. Have a good weekend,
right.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody. See you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Braydon.
Bye.